The U.S. military is flexing its muscles in the Pacific theater as tensions are increasing due to China's aggressive posturing. In an emergency deployment readiness exercise, paratroopers from the 4th Brigade Combat Team, 25th Infantry Division, out of Alaska, descended onto Guam via airdrop from C-17 Globemaster III transports. As per reports, 400 paratroopers were included in the mission, and this made it the largest airborne operation here in recent history. According to an Air Force release, the airborne assault mission covered nearly 5,000 miles from the Elmendorf Air Force Base in Alaska and dropped onto Andersen Air Force Base in the northern tip of the island of Guam. At least 5 C-17s were used in the operation. Colonel Christopher Landers, the commander of the 4th Brigade who led the mission, stated the following about its utility. This scenario tested our ability to execute real-world missions and demonstrated that we are capable of deploying anywhere in the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command area at a moment's notice. This video is sponsored by War Thunder. If you are, like us, fascinated by military vehicles and technology, I recommend you give War Thunder a try. It's a military vehicle combat game which you can download and play for free on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One with cross-platform support. It has a huge variety of more than 1,200 playable aircraft, tanks, helicopters, and ships from the 1930s to the 1990s, which you can take to battle on land, in the air, and at sea on more than 80 theaters of war. War Thunder's been kind enough to offer All Defense Updates viewers a special bonus, which will grant you a free premium tank, aircraft, or ship, and 3 days of premium account time for registering using our link in the description below. So take the plunge and join more than 20 million players from around the world. U.S. Navy wants to put 4 underperforming Littoral combat ships out of the service in the next few months. The Littoral Combat Ship, LCS, is a set of 2 classes, the Independence and Freedom. Construction of the Freedom class is spearheaded by Lockheed Martin at Fincantieri Marinette Marine Shipyard in Wisconsin, while that of Independence class ships is led by Austal USA in Alabama. These are relatively small surface vessels and primarily designed for operations near shore. As per reports, USS Freedom and USS Independence, both of which are the first ships in their subclasses, along with the Freedom-class USS Fort Worth and Independence-class USS Coronado, are set to be out of commission in reserve, or OCIR, by March 2021. The move is being resisted by some members of Congress who are looking to block mothballing of these 2 vessels until all the tests of the various mission modules for each variant are complete. This could possibly take years. Japan and India have announced that their respective navies have conducted a joint exercise in the Indian Ocean. The Indian Navy training vessels, INS Rana and INS Kulush, were joined by the Japanese Navy's JS Kashima and JS Shimayuki. The Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force stated the maneuvers were designed to promote mutual understanding and consisted of 4 warships, 2 from each country. Vice Admiral Pradeep Chauhan, Director General of the National Maritime Foundation, said, "We are using the exercises for strategic communications." He added, "Not there for combat purposes, but for signaling." The Vice Admiral added, "We need to be proximate with our friends, and the Chinese know there is a direct ladder of escalation between Japan and the United States." The Japanese embassy in New Delhi said that this was the 15th such exercise in 3 years. The content of this exercise is tactical training and communications training, said embassy spokesperson Toshida Ando, with no specific scenario. Though naval exercise between India and Japan is common, the timing of this exercise is significant since it's being conducted at a time when there's a standoff between India and China. Australia seems to be waking up to the changing tactical and strategic dynamics in the region. Australia has announced that it would spend $186 billion on its military, including long-range missiles, over the next decade amid rising tensions in the Indo-Pacific region. The move is aimed directly at China. Though Prime Minister Scott Morrison refrained from naming China, as he pressed home Australia's needs by defining a post-COVID world that is poorer, that is more dangerous, and that is more disorderly. It's interesting to note that relations between China and Australia were cordial, but this changed since President Xi Jinping became the leader. Australia plans to arm its fleet of Super Hornets with long-range anti-ship missiles purchased from the United States. It's also looking to deploy long-range hypersonic missiles that could be launched from land. The hypersonic missiles can travel at more than 5 times the speed of sound, and currently there is no dependable way to counter them. In a speech to the Australian Defence Force Academy in Canberra, Morrison said his country must face the reality that we have moved into a new and less benign strategic era. On Wednesday, the Chinese People's Liberation Army Navy (PLAN) began exercises in the South China Sea. The exercise is focused on amphibious assault activities. Before the exercises, a PLAN amphibious assault ship was seen at Woody Island, the largest natural Chinese-held feature in the South China Sea, and host to major military facilities in the Paracel Islands. On June 27th, a Type 071 amphibious transport dock was seen in satellite imagery. Type 071 provides the PLAN with capabilities and flexibility not found in its previous landing ships. The amphibious warfare ships of this class feature a vehicle deck, well deck, landing deck, and a hangar. It can carry a combination of Marines, vehicles, landing craft, and helicopters. The ship may embark 600 to 800 troops. The stern helicopter deck offers 2 landing spots for supporting the operations of 2 Z-8 transport helicopters. The twin-door cantilever hangar can house up to 4 Z-8 helicopters. The well deck houses up to 4 Type 726 air-cushioned landing craft, which can transfer vehicles or Marines to the shore at high speed. Type 071 could be a key instrument in a potential invasion of Taiwan. According to ship tracking data, the ongoing exercises not only involved the PLAN, but also included the Chinese Coast Guard. It's interesting to note that the Coast Guard, part of the People's Armed Police Force, was deemed eligible to participate in wartime activities under the command of the Central Military Commission of China. This indicates that the Chinese Coast Guard is expected to play an active role in a future naval conflict. Indian Defense Minister Rajnath Singh has asked Russia to speed up the delivery of the S400 air defense system. Viewers may note that on the 5th of October 2018, during India-Russia bilateral annual summit held in New Delhi, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Russian President Vladimir Putin finalized the deal of S400. India will get 5 regiments of S400, and the contract is worth $5.5 billion. The delivery schedule for the S400 squadrons is originally slated from October 2020 to April 2023. India is now pressing Moscow to fast-track the delivery, keeping in view the ongoing standoff with China. China already has S400, and it received its first S400 regiment in July of 2018. It's reported that China has ordered 2 S400 regiments for an estimated $3 billion. S400 is considered to be one of the most dreaded air defense systems. It uses multiple radars depending on threat perception. These have a range of around 600 kilometers or around 370 miles. S400 deploys multiple missiles to cover its strike envelope and has an engagement range of 400 kilometers or 250 miles. Deployment of S400 could be a game changer for India.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.